Marvel's Spider-Man 2. During the September 2021 PlayStation Showcase, a surprise trailer dropped for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, coming exclusively to PS5 sometime in 2023. As a sequel that's set to continue on the journey of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, who could forget seeing another very familiar face? Yes, Venom is going to feature as the villain of the new web-slinging adventures. In a blog post, Pragmata, Capcom revealed a mysterious new game called Pragmata that leaves more questions than it answers, but certainly piqued a lot of interest when it was added to the upcoming PS5 games list. Described as a thought-provoking game, the trailer shows someone in what looks like a spacesuit in a futuristic setting, where they encounter a young girl and Holocat. While it won't be coming until 2022, we're certainly eager to learn more about this rather enigmatic adventure. Marvel's Wolverine. Undoubtedly one of the biggest surprises of the PlayStation September 2021 showcase came in the shape of those famous adamantium claws belonging to none other than Wolverine. Yes, a new standalone Wolverine game is currently in early development. While we're light on details for the moment, we do know Brian Horton as Wolverine's creative director and Cameron Christian as game director. Horton was creative director on Spider-Man Miles Morales and has also worked on games such as Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Christian previously worked on Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, as well as other titles such as Sunset Overdrive. Insomniac revealed its goal is to respect the DNA of what makes the character so popular, but also try to make it feel fresh, and reflect the studio spirit. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic Remake. After many rumors began to circulate, the latest Sony showcase confirmed that a remaster of BioWare's beloved Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic is on the way and it's coming to PS5. Aspyr and Sony Interactive Entertainment are working with Lucasfilm Games to rebuild the classic adventure, which promises to bring KOTOR to a new generation with modern tech, features, visuals, and more, while maintaining the integrity of the story and characters so many have come to love. Final Fantasy XVI. Yes, Final Fantasy XVI has officially been confirmed and it's set to be a PlayStation console exclusive that will come to the PS5. Produced by Final Fantasy XIV director Naoki Yoshida and directed by Hiroshi Takai, the debut trailer was revealed during the most recent PS5 showcase, giving us our first proper look at the next installment. We don't know too much about where it will take us just yet, but the trailer does mention how the crystals shaped our world. More information is set to come in 2021. Season. Channeling almost Ghibli-esque vibes, Season is a game about riding around on a bicycle and discovering the world for the first time. You play as a young woman who's lived in a secluded community, but for some reason is now able to explore, take photos, and make new memories. But there's not much time to do any of it in, as a mysterious cataclysm is about to engulf the world for good. But heck is a beautiful way to spend your last season. Indiana Jones. Bethesda's studio Machine Games is working on a brand new Indiana Jones game, in conjunction with the newly established Lucasfilm Games. All we've had so far is a tiny teaser trailer, which is more matte painting than gameplay footage. But, from it, we've deduced that it's probably set in Rome in 1937, which would place the game after Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Temple of Doom, and yet before The Last Crusade. It seems to involve ancient stone circles and standing stones, and potentially even a lost race of giant cyclops. Bethesda says we'll be waiting a while for more info though, including 100% confirmation of whether it is on PS5, seeing as it's a Bethesda game. Vampire. The Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. Looking for a game with a bit of extra bite? Vampire. The Masquerade, Bloodlines 2 puts you in the seedy underbelly of Seattle, which should suit you just fine as a vampire ready to test out your new fangs. Turned as an act of vampire terrorism during the mass embrace, you'll soon get caught up in vampire faction politics, where you're still just trying to deal with your new way of life. This is an RPG at its core too, filled with player choices, a strong narrative, and branching dialogue options too. Project 007. IO Interactive is gearing up to tell the origin story for James Bond in a brand new game currently titled Project 007. Although details are scarce, and an official name is yet to be revealed, what we do know is that it's going to be an entirely original James Bond story, so not tied to the novels or films. Håkan Abrak, CEO of IO, says that it is the most ambitious game in the history of our studio. Exciting times ahead. Elder Scrolls 6. The Elder Scrolls 6. The 37-second trailer that blew the world's mind at E3 2018. The game that we know nothing about beyond this same trailer, that is in development somewhere within Bethesda Game Studios along with Starfield. Because it is so far away from release, you can bet your bottom coin that it's going to appear, at some point, on the PS5, although hopefully not whatever the PS6 could be. Recompile. A classic example of indie devs making smart use of limited resources to make distinctive, beautiful environments. Recompile is an inventive platformer where you've got a pretty heavy task in front of you. Hack your way through a virtual landscape, bring about the first technological singularity, and save humanity. In your way are all sorts of alien-looking creatures, which you can shoot down, rush into, or dash around stealthily. This one seems to draw from all sorts of different inspirations, from Nier Automata to Journey, but with a look and soundtrack all its own. Dead Space Remake. Dead Space is coming back to haunt all our Heimares with a brand new remake that's being specially rebuilt for the PS5. With no loading screens, no microtransactions, and potentially content cut from the original game, this will be the best way to experience Dead Space yet. And with the team behind Star Wars, Squadrons and Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the job, you know it's going to look fantastic. Dragon Age 4. Although technically no platforms have been announced for Dragon Age 4, or whatever the next Dragon Age is officially called, at this point it would seem odd not to think of it as an upcoming PS5 game. We may not have a release date yet, but at least we know that Solas & Co. are making a return at some point in the future. What we have seen is some glorious concept art, and the confirmation that it will continue on from where Dragon Age Inquisition left off. New Mass Effect. It might be quite a way off release, but that isn't going to stop us being ridiculously overexcited for a brand new Mass Effect game, aka Mass Effect 5. Seemingly picking up after the events of Mass Effect 3, we'll be seeing some old faces return and some plotlines picked back up. Of course, the big question of whether Shepard will return remains, but we're ready for everything. Atomic Heart. Horror fans should rejoice to hear that Munfish is bringing Atomic Heart to next-gen consoles. The wild-looking sci-fi horror game only rears its grotesque head every so often, but when it does, the world collectively gasps with shock and intrigue. Its monsters are unforgettable, we've already seen a good range of unique alien weapons, and the story already has us asking more questions than we have answers. Atomic Heart looks incredibly ambitious for a smaller studio, and we can't wait to see if it lands the jump on PS5. Gran Turismo Sport. It's been a brief spell since Gran Turismo Sport arrived on PS4, but there's a reason why it's at the top of this list of potential upcoming PS5 games. A Wired article from last year explains that the writer got to test a few games on a PS5 devkit. One of those included, and I quote, a version of Gran Turismo Sport that Sony had ported over. It was being used to show off the new haptic capabilities of the PS5 controller, moving from driving on the dirt and the track. Now, it would be a bit of a waste to port the game over just for a tech test, so we expect GT Sport will be racing on over to PS5 at some point in the future.